The hidden rules of workplace power. Why competence alone is not enough. Introduction. The hidden rules. Most people enter the workplace believing a simple principle: work hard, perform well, and success will follow. Sometimes this happens, but often it does not. Competent employees become invisible. Careful employees are bypassed. Louder personalities advance faster than quieter experts. These outcomes feel unfair because the visible rules of organizations emphasize merit, professionalism, and cooperation. Yet beneath these visible rules lie another set of dynamics: influence, reputation, perception, risk management, hierarchy. These forces shape outcomes just as strongly as skill or effort. They form what might be called the hidden rules of workplace power. Understanding these rules does not require cynicism, it requires observation. Once you begin to notice how power moves through organizations, many confusing experiences become easier to interpret. Decisions that once seemed arbitrary reveal structure. Success that once looked mysterious reveals pattern. This book explores those patterns, not to manipulate others, but to help you see the system clearly enough to move through it with awareness. Introduction. The visible rules and the hidden ones. Most organizations describe themselves through visible rules: work hard, collaborate, deliver results, support the team. These principles appear in mission statements, leadership speeches, and onboarding documents. They shape the official culture of the workplace. Yet anyone who spends enough time inside organizations begins to notice something else. Outcomes do not always follow the visible rules. Highly competent employees sometimes remain overlooked. Individuals who speak confidently often gain attention even when their ideas are not stronger. Certain projects receive support quickly while others struggle to move forward. These experiences can feel confusing at first. The explanation usually lies not in competence alone, but in a set of forces that operate quietly beneath formal structures. Influence, perception, alliances, reputation, and risk management shape how decisions actually occur. These forces form the hidden rules of workplace power. Understanding them does not require cynicism, it requires observation. When you recognize how power moves through organizations, many interactions become easier to interpret. Situations that once seemed arbitrary reveal pattern. The goal of this book is simple: to help you see those patterns clearly. Chapter 1. Competence and Visibility. Competence alone rarely guarantees influence. Organizations are busy environments where attention becomes a limited resource. Leaders often focus on visible signals: who speaks in meetings, who presents ideas confidently, who appears closely connected to important projects. As a result, competence that remains invisible may go unnoticed. An employee may produce excellent work quietly, while others communicate their contributions more actively. Over time, the second individual becomes associated with progress, even if the underlying quality of work is similar. This does not mean visibility replaces competence. Rather, visibility determines whether competence enters the system's awareness. Work that is never seen cannot shape decisions. Strategists understand this dynamic early. They maintain strong performance while ensuring that important contributions become visible at the right moments. Strategic observation: competence creates value. Visibility allows the system to recognize it. Chapter 2. Perception shapes reputation. Reputation inside organizations rarely forms from complete information. Instead, people construct impressions from partial observations, brief interactions, and stories shared through informal conversations. These impressions gradually solidify into reputation. A single visible success may elevate someone's perceived capability. A visible mistake may influence how future actions are interpreted. Once a reputation begins to form, new information is often filtered through that existing perception. Positive reputations attract trust and opportunity. Negative reputations create skepticism even when performance improves. The strategist therefore treats perception carefully. Reputation develops slowly but influences decisions consistently. Strategic observation. Reputation is not a record of everything you do. It is the pattern others remember. Chapter 3. The currency of trust. Trust is one of the most powerful currencies inside any organization. When leaders trust someone's judgment, they consult that person more frequently. Information flows toward individuals who are considered reliable. This access creates influence. Trust rarely forms through declarations. It emerges through consistent behavior over time, meeting commitments, communicating clearly, and responding constructively when problems arise. Once trust exists, collaboration becomes easier. Decisions require fewer explanations because credibility already exists. Without trust, even strong ideas may struggle to gain support. Strategists invest in trust deliberately. They understand that influence grows naturally when others believe their intentions and competence align. Strategic observation. Trust reduces friction inside decision systems. Chapter 4. Power and risk. Power inside organizations often reflects responsibility for risk. Leaders must answer for outcomes. Their decisions influence budgets, reputations, and careers. Because of this responsibility, they evaluate proposals through a particular lens. How much risk does this introduce? Employees sometimes interpret caution as resistance to innovation. Yet leaders may simply be managing uncertainty. When consequences extend beyond a single team, even promising ideas require careful evaluation. Strategists recognize this perspective. They present ideas in ways that address risk openly, explaining potential benefits while acknowledging uncertainties and proposing safeguards. This approach increases the likelihood that ideas receive serious consideration. Strategic observation. Influence grows when proposals reduce perceived risk. Chapter 5. Informal networks. Formal organizational charts show reporting relationships. But much of the real information flow occurs through informal networks. Friendships, mentorships, long-standing collaborations, and professional respect built over time. These networks influence how quickly information spreads and whose opinions carry weight. Two employees may hold similar roles within the official hierarchy, yet experience very different levels of influence depending on their network connections. Strategists observe these networks carefully. They notice who collaborates frequently, who consults whom before major decisions, and which individuals appear central to information flow. Understanding these connections reveals the system's internal structure. Strategic observation. Formal structure defines roles. Informal networks move influence. Chapter 6. The importance of timing. Ideas do not succeed only because they are correct. They succeed when the environment is ready to receive them. Organizations move through cycles of stability and change. During stable periods, leaders often favor incremental improvements. During disruption or transition, they may become more open to new approaches. Strategists pay attention to these shifts. An idea presented too early may encounter resistance simply because the system has not yet recognized the problem it addresses. The same idea presented later may appear obvious. Timing influences perception. Strategic observation. The right idea at the wrong moment often fails quietly. Chapter 7. Speaking and silence. Communication inside power systems carries consequences. Speaking openly may demonstrate initiative, but it can also expose disagreement with authority. Remaining silent may avoid conflict, yet it may also limit visibility. Professionals navigate this balance continuously. Strategists observe when speaking creates value and when listening reveals more information. They recognize that influence often depends on choosing the right moment to contribute rather than reacting immediately to every discussion. Silence can sometimes communicate caution, reflection, or respect for the decision process. Strategic observation. Influence often comes from timing communication rather than maximizing it. Chapter 8. Managing Disagreement. Disagreement is inevitable inside organizations. Different teams hold different priorities. Technical specialists view problems differently from financial managers. Leaders must balance competing objectives. When disagreement becomes personal, collaboration deteriorates. Strategists approach disagreement differently. They focus discussion on structure and outcomes rather than individuals. By framing issues in terms of system impact rather than personal preference, they keep conversations constructive. This approach protects relationships while still addressing important concerns. Strategic observation. Constructive disagreement strengthens systems when handled with precision. Chapter 9. The weight of titles. Titles signal authority within organizations. They indicate decision rights, responsibilities, and areas of accountability. Because of this symbolism, titles influence how others interpret communication. When a senior leader speaks, the message often carries greater weight, regardless of its content. When junior employees speak, their ideas may receive less immediate attention. Strategists acknowledge this reality. Rather than ignoring hierarchy, they learn to navigate it, aligning proposals with appropriate decision-makers and understanding how authority shapes conversation. Strategic observation. Hierarchy amplifies certain voices within the system. Chapter 10. Momentum and career trajectory. Careers often develop through momentum. Early successes create visibility and trust, which lead to additional opportunities. These opportunities further strengthen reputation and influence. Momentum can accelerate growth, but the opposite pattern also occurs. Individuals who experience early setbacks may struggle to regain attention even when their performance improves. Strategists recognize the importance of early positioning. They invest energy in projects that allow their capabilities to become visible and valued within the system. Strategic observation. Momentum shapes how organizations interpret future performance. Chapter 11. Integrity and long-term influence. While perception and networks influence short-term outcomes, integrity shapes long-term influence. Organizations remember individuals who behave consistently over time. People whose actions align with their words gradually develop reputations that outlast temporary circumstances. Integrity creates stability. Colleagues know what to expect. Trust deepens because behavior remains predictable even during difficult moments. Strategists protect this foundation carefully. Short-term advantage rarely compensates for the loss of credibility. Strategic observation. Long-term influence grows from consistent behavior. Chapter 12. Seeing the system clearly. Understanding the hidden rules of workplace power does not mean abandoning professionalism or cooperation. It means recognizing that organizations are complex systems shaped by incentives, perception, and relationships. Once these forces become visible, confusion decreases. You begin to notice how decisions form, how influence travels, and how behavior adapts to structure. Situations that once appeared unpredictable reveal underlying patterns. This awareness allows you to navigate the workplace more intelligently, not by manipulating others, but by understanding the environment you share. Strategic observation. Clarity about the system is the beginning of strategic behavior. Closing reflection. Workplaces often appear unpredictable when viewed only through visible rules, but beneath daily events lies a structure of incentives, relationships, and perceptions that guide behavior consistently. Learning to see that structure changes how you move through organizations. You notice patterns earlier, you interpret signals more accurately, you choose actions with greater awareness of consequence. Competence remains essential, but competence combined with systemic awareness becomes far more powerful, because once you see the system clearly, you stop working blindly inside it, you begin working intelligently within it.